When the Israelites were at Rephidim, they were attacked by the Amalekites. So Moses told Joshua, "Have some men ready to attack the Amalekites tomorrow. I will stand on a hilltop, holding this walking stick that has the power of God." Joshua led the attack as Moses had commanded, while Moses, Aaron, and Hur stood on the hilltop. The Israelites outfought the Amalekites as long as Moses held up his arms, but they started losing whenever he lowered them. After a while, his arms were so tired that Aaron and Hur got a rock for him to sit on. Then they stood beside him and supported his arms in the same position until sunset. That's how Joshua defeated the Amalekites. Afterwards, the Lord said to Moses, "Write an account of this victory and read it to Joshua. I want the Amalekites to be forgotten forever." Moses built an altar and named it, "The Lord Gives Me Victory." Then Moses explained, "This is because I depended on the Lord. But in future generations, the Lord will fight the Amalekites again and again." Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came to the Israelite camp. Jethro, a priest of Midian, hears about all that God has done for Moses and the Israelites, particularly how he delivered them from Egypt. Jethro brings Moses' wife Zipporah and their 2 sons, Gershom and Eleazar, to reunite with Moses in the wilderness. When Jethro arrives, Moses goes out to meet him, bows, and kisses him. They greet each other and go into Moses' tent. Moses recounts to Jethro all that the Lord has done to Pharaoh and the Egyptians for Israel's sake, and the hardships they faced along the way, and how the Lord delivered them. Jethro rejoices over all the good things the Lord has done for Israel, and acknowledges the greatness of the Lord over other gods, because he delivered the Israelites from the hand of the Egyptians. Jethro then offers a burnt offering and sacrifices to God. Aaron and all the elders of Israel come to eat bread with Moses, his father-in-law, before God. The next morning, Moses sat down at the place where he decided legal cases for the people, and everyone crowded around him until evening. Jethro saw how much Moses had to do for the people, and he asked, "Why are you the only judge? Why do you let these people crowd around you from morning till evening?" Moses answered, "Because they come here to find out what God wants them to do. They bring their complaints to me, and I make decisions on the basis of God's laws." Jethro replied, "That isn't the best way to do it. You and the people who come to you will soon be worn out. The job is too much for one person. You can't do it alone. God will help you if you follow my advice. You should be the one to speak to God for the people, and you should teach them God's laws and show them what they must do to live right. You will need to appoint some competent leaders who respect God and are trustworthy and honest. Then put them over groups of 10, 50, 100, and 1,000. These judges can handle the ordinary cases and bring the more difficult ones to you. Having them to share the load will make your work easier. This is the way God wants it done. You won't be under nearly as much stress, and everyone else will return home feeling satisfied." Moses followed Jethro's advice. He chose some competent leaders from every tribe in Israel and put them over groups of 10, 50, 100, and 1,000. They served as judges, deciding the easy cases themselves, but bringing the more difficult ones to Moses. After Moses and his father-in-law Jethro had said goodbye to each other, Jethro returned home.